takeandtalkpics.com. I'm Rob Kruger, and this is episode 71 with photographer Lee Holt.
I always tell people, they're like, man, you're always everywhere, you're doing so much in this. And I'm like, yeah, well, there's a difference between staying busy and making money.
Today's featured guest is Lee Holt. Lee, are you ready to rock today and talk to Photo World?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Lee is a Google trusted photographer based out of Jacksonville, Florida. While the application to become a Google verified business is simple, being selected is extremely difficult, and it becomes even harder each day. The process is based on merit as well as location availability. Being unofficially backed by Google is a great accomplishment and will boost any business. Lee has a range of work and covers many genres of photography due to his location. The work available is a bit less than a major city, and that makes it tough to niche down to one area of photography. Having been a pro photographer for only 3 years, Lee has a lot to share with you, Photo World. So Lee, welcome to Take and Talk Pics.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
I'm happy to help Photo World out with any kind of info that I've learned over these years.
For sure, and I've only told them a very little bit about you and your business. Can you share a little bit more about what you do and kind of your day-to-day?
Man, 85% on the computer, 5% on the phone, and the rest we can shoot. But it's it's being full-time in photography is definitely, if anybody's wanting to make that jump, you have to realize how much work it's going to be because you can kiss all your friends and everything goodbye, right, unless you can really have that balance, because it's 70 hours a week. It's nonstop.
Right, at least.
Yeah, I have so many friends that are like, oh, what happened to you? I'm like, trying to build a business. Yeah. And the learning curve is, you have to stay on top of it. You just have to.
Yeah.
But
sorry, Seth Lowe last week, he reminded us that it's okay to make the transition slowly, work and kind of do it part-time and then shift into it, because making a jump is difficult, which is what you did, right? You kind of just jumped all the way in.
Yeah. When I first working with Google is when I was working as a welder before, and just shooting hobbyists, and I discovered that I can make what I did in a week welding in a couple hours photo shoot. And I was like, okay, well, this just doesn't make sense. So I decided right then, I'm like, okay, well, instead of putting all my effort into waking up at 4:30 every morning and going and sweating crazy and welding, working, I wanted to do photography. I was more passionate about it. I could see that there was a way to make a good income for it, and I just jumped at it and just went full steam at it, and it's been a really crazy adventure in the last few years, that's for sure.
Well, for going full steam ahead and keeping that motivation up, do you have a quote or a mantra that you live by to kind of keep that forward momentum?
The forward momentum, I do have one mantra. One thing that I always keep in the back of my head every day, especially while I'm shooting, is light illuminates and shadows define. If you break an image down to its basic ingredients, it's lights and shadows. And to make a dynamic or a compelling image, either tell a story or tell some sort of informative storytelling with the image. So using lights and shadows, keep that in the back of your mind, and you can always go back to the basics of creating a dynamic or compelling image. As far as motivation to keep going, just every day when you wake up, just think, if you're doing what you're passionate about, even if it is 80 hours, 70 hours a week, when you wake up, you're not working. You are doing what you love. So don't think of it as work, because you're going to burn yourself out. And you have to know that, the gratitude. I heard one of your messages the other day about gratitude, and you have to be thankful for what you're doing. I know some great photographers that are programmers, and they're sitting behind a desk coding all day. And they're like, man, I just want to go out and shoot and And it's like, man, me too, behind
Yeah.
the desk. But, it's just a different style of work, but you're still involved in photography. So,
Right. I mean, it's a package deal. Like you said, there's 5% on the phone, 85% on the computer, and then what does that leave us? 10% actually shooting, and that seems a little high. Like it's that annoying sometimes. But that 10%, it really is our passionate side. It is the thing we love to do. So that other 90% of work behind the scenes is driving that. So waking up and saying you get to do what you love for a living is, only 10% of it. But most people don't have any of that. So that's a good thing to walk away with. I love the reminder little, thought behind every shoot. Light illuminates, shadows define. That is a genius way of saying it. I don't know if you came up with it or heard it somewhere else. I've never heard it that way. And it's a really good thing to think about because people get so scared about losing too much detail in the shadows or letting too many things go in the highlights. And I'm just like, just let the camera and you play a little bit and play with the extremes and see what you can get or do with it. It's okay to mess with those extreme ends.
I forgot where I heard that. I definitely didn't come up with it. I heard it somewhere. I couldn't tell you, but
it's all right. I got 40,000 quotes just like that where I have no clue where they came from. So it happens. So we're getting into the whole business of things, but you started at one point. What actually sparked your interest enough in photography to say, yes, I'm going to do this as a career?
Working with Google, I worked with business owners. So it got me very involved with the community as far on the business owner status. And so I started seeing further needs for photography that I could help somebody out. So it was more of a cross marketing while I'm doing my Google work. I can actually come in and say, oh, well, yeah, you need a product shoot. Yeah, let's do it. Or, so I seen where I could cross market myself and stay more busy just other than doing work through Google. And that helped me get away from welding full time, especially when I seen what I could make. And at first I seen, just the price of the jobs. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is awesome. Okay, well, I can make, my normal week's worth of income in, a few days shoot. But in the beginning, very naive to understand the cost of doing business. When you show up to a shoot with, $30,000 of equipment and you're like, you have to replace some of that equipment throughout the year. And you have to think about how much, every photo that you take is actually, it costs you money. I have to buy a new external hard drive, 6 terabytes every, 8 months. And that adds up.
Yeah.
So there's a cost of doing business that I was naive to in the beginning, and I just seen the dollar amounts. So I jumped in head first, and I was lucky enough to stay busy enough to stay afloat. And now I've kind of got to a better point to where I can adjust my rates and actually incorporate the cost of doing business into actually getting paid for it, and then pay for insurance and all these little things that you just don't think about it first.
Right. Yeah, you're right. We all kind of jump into it a little bit excited and feeling like I can actually make a business out of this. That's awesome. And then we totally forget about the part where we have to make a business because that's the most difficult side of it. I mean, they're like, we already did the simple made up math of 90% of it is doing your business, right? So, I mean, we have our ups and downs, and maybe it's in those early days. Can you remember a time where you had to learn the hard way? Maybe it was a failure moment or just something you came out better for, big or small, it doesn't matter, but something you can share with Photo World.
I was using a third party. I really don't know what happened. I was shooting a wedding. It was beautiful on the beach. We had a sunset. We were doing the formals. I go out on the beach, and for some reason, my camera just maybe it was because I was using a third party battery grip, but for some reason, my image size went to smallest JPEG instead of shooting in large RAW. I have no idea how it happened. I mean, that's not something that you can't just bump the camera and change that.
Right.
So I have no idea how it happened. So I shot all the formals in the smallest format JPEG. It was probably the most embarrassing moment when I got back. And, my second shooter is editing photos, and we're creating a slideshow to put up on a TV for, all the guests to watch. And he's like, dude, what's up with these pictures? They look kind of pixelated, and we got to look at it, and sure enough, I shot in the smallest JPEG. So that was, and I went and I told the bridegroom, and I was like, look, I don't know what happened. This isn't normal. We have the images. They'll look great on, Instagram or Facebook or something like that. But if you wanted to get any prints or, I was straightforward with them. And I was like, if you want to go back and do like a quick couple photos before the sun goes down and we lose all of our light, let's go do it now. And they were cool with having the small format, and but it wasn't a surprise. So I was very upfront with them. I've always been very upfront with any of my clients, and I think that goes a long way. So yeah, maybe that's a winded answer, but yeah.
No, it's good. I mean, you see a mistake and you got to be totally transparent about the solution, because if you kept that from them and went, you know what, I'll just work out an excuse later when I'm delivering the pictures or something, like that just can't go over well. But if you're right there in the moment, like, oh my gosh, this happened and we can make a solution out of it right now if you'd like, and you had an answer to the problem already. And since you had the answer, a couple options as far as what could happen here, you gave them the decision and the time to choose, which is really difficult for most photographers. They don't want to feel like they've lost control of the situation or made a mistake. Nobody wants to look bad in front of everybody. So, a lot of people tend to hide things like that, and it doesn't go over well in the end. So it's smart to just, oh my gosh, how do I solve this right now? Or what is the best solution right now? And then in the future, I'm sure you probably looked at your camera every 30 seconds on the next job going, I hope I didn't change it. Just double checking.
Every little thing, yeah, we definitely learn from. That's for sure.
Right. I've heard issues with third-party grips. Some of them, not all of them. Some are pretty darn good. But I don't think I've ever heard that one as a possible thing. And of course, like you said, you don't know for sure, but that's pretty goofy. So
yeah, I don't know if it was the grip or what happened. I mean, to this day, I still haven't had it happen. I mean, I shoot with two cameras, and I have the harness, and the cameras are dangling out my sides. Mm. But I still did a test, and I was looking at it, and I was banging it, and
that's a tough button combination to switch that. So
yeah. So yeah, still baffled to this day.
We get those ups and downs, and I think even as we're running a business, there are certain things we still would like to correct for ourselves. Can you think of one bad business habit that you would like to break?
I just have to pick one.
Just one, yes.
Bad business habit. I get a lot of work through social media, so sometimes that can be counterproductive. I'll find myself getting lost in social media sometimes, where I could be, drawing up contracts and sending them out, or my messages. I need to the 20-minute thing. I need to get on my 20-minute thing.
Right.
So 20 minutes on one thing, and then 20 minutes on the next, and and then come back to it. So I guess just being more productive with my time. Yeah, that would probably be the biggest thing.
Yeah, I think with social media, that'd be really easy to get distracted. So you could probably do like a copy and paste into a Word doc or something, or Google Doc. Close that thing right out, go to the next one, and just compile your messages and notes you got to respond to. Because, yeah, that could be troubling. You just get sucked into YouTube, wherever you end up.
Yeah, I use Office, Microsoft OneNote.
Oh, yeah.
And it syncs across, all your mobile device and everything. So I have lots of responses that I, winded ones that I keep in there. So that definitely saves some time on responses.
Yeah, in my opinion, OneNote is one of the most underrated softwares available. It is so awesome what you can do with that. I mean, it's not just a note-keeping app or, software. It's got everything. And you can share it so easily, and you can share it in real time. So you could actually be on the same shared, file and be typing in stuff in a meeting with people doing the same thing. It's pretty crazy. So I just think it's awesome. So if you haven't used OneNote, find a place for it in your business, because it does work really well to organize.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm on Mac now, but I still use Microsoft OneNote. I love it.
Yeah. So we have a wide range of photographers listening. Lee, could you please share with Photo World one thing you think would lead to growth and success in a business regardless of their current level?
Calculate the cost of doing business for you. So many people are worried about, what do I charge? What are my sessions going to be? Yeah, I understand that, starting out, you're going to put up an ad on Craigslist and you're going to do photo shoots, weddings for a couple $100 or free or anything. That's fine. But if you want to do this professionally and you really want to pursue it, just really calculate the cost of doing business. And then, right off rip, think 30%, because Uncle Sam's definitely got to get his 30%.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would, well, I guess that would be geared more towards, beginning photographers. But as far as, anybody that's already in the industry, I love that one quote, just, light illuminates and shadows define. Don't lose the basics, and you can always go back to it and make great images.
Yeah, don't forget to focus on the work, because your progress in your work will reflect your progress in your business. If you're growing in your ability, you're going to naturally grow in your business, as long as you keep at least on the same track of trying to pursue, it being a full-time thing or whatever,
Yeah, absolutely. And with clients, the interaction is so key. Just being genuine, just being yourself, especially. On a lot of my shoots, one of my favorite things to shoot is couples, engagement shoots or something, because I have them for, half a day or whatever, and we're just going out to a remote location and we're just having fun. And I just happen to bring my camera and maybe some lighting equipment with me, and we make great images. It's more of just connecting with your subjects and creating a wonderful time for them, and you're going to get good photos. It doesn't matter. You can blow the sky out. I don't care what you want. But when you get that image of them smiling, looking at each other, it's all in the eyes, and you can just feel such a story in that image. You can't touch that. That's genuine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm primarily weddings, so I get a lot of clients who send me all these Pinterest images they've found and other ideas they've had, and it's just like these most bizarre things I'm not going to find in Chicago, Illinois, of like this extravagant castle in between the mountains. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you looking for in a picture? So I try to remind people that, hey, you know what? Let's make it about you and your day and your choices, because you didn't choose to do it in the mountains at a castle. So, let's go on your day and focus on that. So we'll make it about the people. And then you get those shots where they're like, well, where do we need to do this? It's a picture of us and our dog in between going to the reception or something. It's like, let's just do it right here. Oh, well, isn't the background? I'm like, it's not about the background. We'll let that go soft and it'll be fine. Like, you just kind of have to train people. Like, I'll take care of it. I'll work the light and the shadows and you'll get a great image. So it's good to remind people that that's really what it's about. Trust your instincts and keep refining those skills. So that's awesome. So when we're going through business, I mean, we've gotten through the depressing times of the bad business habits we'd like to break, and failure moments and things that just, mistakes and mishaps that happen throughout the day or a career in itself. But there's good times too, where things just kind of click and things change big time after that. I mean, these are kind of the aha moments. I don't think there's just one, but can you recall an aha moment where once you decided on this new change or that idea, things really took a turn for the better?
Yeah, there was when I stepped off the plane in Thailand to photograph a wedding, and I knew that I was there because of my photography. That was a really, really good feeling. I used to live there years ago, but a couple that I met while I lived there, they live in Australia. We kept in contact on social media, contacted me, and they said, we would love for you to shoot our wedding. It's going to be in Thailand. Can you make it? I said, absolutely. I don't care what I have in my calendar. It's getting moved. But that was definitely an aha moment when I got off that plane and, back in Thailand, and for my photography. My photography's taken me all over the place. I mean, I love to travel. I got a home base. That's cool. But, I work with the Navy SEALs doing this obstacle course races, photography, and actually let's do one of those deals. So I work with the the Navy SEALs obstacle course race series called Battle Frog, and I shoot all their promotional material and portraits. And they fly me every 3 weeks. I'm in a new city, so I'm getting to travel and see new things. I'm on. If start your timer.
It's okay.
But yeah, the aha moment would be being able to travel and take photos and make money with it. Anywhere from being invited to the Talasan West to shoot a dinner party to Thailand. It's definitely makes you feel like you made it when people are willing to fly you somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, if it's actually making you get around the world and you're sought after, I mean, that's a huge compliment, you know. And I know you mentioned doing the Navy SEAL obstacle stuff and their portraits and promo materials. What other companies, if you're allowed to say, because I know originally Photo World, Lee contacted me via email, and he was saying he's got a lot of stuff that he's done, and he can't really share everything due to certain contracts on his website. But it just sounded so intriguing. I wanted to get him on the show to share with you. And can you tell us just a little broader range? Because I know we talked about a little bit of like wedding stuff, but a little broader range of just the things you do and the stuff you cover.
Yeah. I mean, I started out in video years ago in Thailand. I was telling you before, with a single GoPro. I did an island tour in Thailand, and some people seen the video, and they were like, "Oh, we want you to make one for us. We'll pay your trip and pay you." And so that sparked my interest in making money with a camera. And eventually, when I got back to the States, I didn't have that tourism to where I can make my money. So I geared it more towards photography, but I still shoot video. I just did a Chamber of Commerce event, and that's great. Any advice I can give: get involved with your chamber. There's tons of business professionals in there that are there for networking, and they'll put you to work. If you got a good quality product, they will put you to work. But I shot some video for them, and by doing that, I picked up a 45 video tutorial contract where I'm shooting for a doctor's office, and that's just one client that I pulled out of there. Just networking. It's just this crazy networking. And photography is, I shoot everything from babies to boudoir to cars to anything that somebody wants to do. And if somebody were to ask me, hey, what's your style? What's this style or that style? I didn't know that I had one, or because I shoot so many wild genres. But somebody the other day said, that looks like a Lee Holt picture. And I was like, what does that even mean? But I guess you kind of develop a style over the time, whether it be shooting a baby or shooting somebody in a bikini. It's you develop a style. I didn't know I had it, but I shoot all kinds of stuff, Rob. Yeah. I can't. Being in Jacksonville, we're the biggest little city. Literally, we have the largest city in the continental U.S. land-wise, and we're just right on the cusp of making it. We used to be Hollywood back in the day.
Oh, nice.
Before Hollywood moved out to California. A lot of silent films were shot here. The history is definitely here, and we could get it going again. But so you got to shoot everything, man. Yeah,
that's cool, and I think it's pretty natural to develop style over time, just from doing it. Because I remember about a year or two into my business, I was reaching out to other photographers who I was interested in their work and respected them. And it was a lot of local people, just so I didn't try to overreach to like the big names in the country or world that I probably wouldn't get to talk to. And, a lot of them just said, you got to find your style. You got to find your style. And I didn't know what that meant. I didn't even know how to start. Okay, yeah, let me go looking for my style, whatever. So it just kind of happens over time naturally if you don't know exactly what you're looking for as far as a style to create. But yeah, once you get to that point where somebody says, that looks like a Lee Holt picture, that's Lee Holt all over it. Like, that's kind of a cool feeling. So that's pretty awesome that has come up for you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love landscapes as well. I actually got asked to be in a gallery in Vero Beach. It's a few hours south of here. And you go on Pixoto or 500 PX, and you just look around, and the landscape photographers are just amazing. You have to take the inspiration from it and don't look at it as comparing yourself. That goes a long ways with different genres of photography. But man, I felt so privileged that somebody would want to buy an image of mine and put it on their wall.
Right. Yeah, and that's a good point to say. You can, get inspiration from others and kind of feed off of them, but don't compare, because that's just that'll set you back a lot of ways. It'll just kind of turn you off to what you're doing and feel like you're not amazing. It's like, everybody starts. Everybody has time behind them. I mean, those people that you're looking at that you're wanting to become, you don't really want to become them. They've already done it. So you find your own way and kind of pursue that. When we're doing that, I mean, we hear a lot of good things. We hear, messed up advice sometimes. But when you're thinking back through your career so far, what is the best advice you've ever received?
I'll tell you the advice that caught me most off guard. I was meeting with a studio owner, choreographer for years. He's probably been in the industry 30 years. And I asked him the same question, and he told me, fake it until you make it. And I was just so off. What? I don't get it. He's like, nobody's going to believe you except better than you. So fake it until you make it. And I was just baffled that he would tell me that. But as far as my advice, I wouldn't say that. My advice is to be genuine with your customers. Create a quality product. It's going to show. Even if you're not a super social person, you can do a lot through your images. Let them speak for you if that's what you have to do, but definitely put them out there to where they can speak for you. The best shoot is the one that somebody can see. I got a lot of client stuff that I can't even share because of contracts and stuff, and oh man, I'm like going through images. I'm just so excited and pumped for it, but I can't show anybody. So the work that you can share it. It doesn't, and get involved in groups. There's tons of photography groups, meetups, Facebook groups, or put your work out there. Get some constructive criticism on it. And you'll never know everything. Definitely always keep that in your head that you will never know everything. If you've even opened up Photoshop, you will understand that.
True. So, Lee, do you have an app or an internet resource that you think Photo World could benefit from knowing about?
Absolutely love and push Snapseed all the time. Just for quick phone photos or something. Snapseed is so easy and you can do so much with it. Yeah, so I think Snapseed's a great app, and I constantly use suncalc.org. Calc's like CALC, and it's Google Earth meshed with the sun, so where you can actually see what angle the sun comes up. So I plan out a lot of shoots using that. I know there's Photographers Emporium or something like that. I just haven't used it. But yeah, suncal.net and Snapseed.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have those on the show notes page for where your stuff will be, including your social links and website, so that way Photo World can see and follow you and what you're doing. But we're about to wrap it up here, and before we go, could you please share with Photo World one parting piece of guidance, and then the best way that we can reach you, whether it be social media or your website directly, and then we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, definitely. One parting piece of advice: keep shooting. Just keep shooting. like we said earlier, I'm at the desk 85% of the time, on the phone 5, shooting 10%, and that's being generous. Keep shooting. Personal projects are a tremendous way to get your work out there and show your passion that you have in your photography. Pick something that you're passionate about. If it's music, find some other local artist in your town and then go shoot their artist and tell a story with it. That's your personal project, or bring awareness to some sort of a program, whether it be like you can do a fundraiser for a cancer awareness, or you can do something with the mission houses in your city. You can there's tons of ways that you can give back with your photography through personal projects, and people notice that. People really do. Companies notice that. I mean, just get it out there and do something that you're passionate about and get that body of work in front of people. And then eventually you'll get paid for it.
Yeah, the personal projects is a good thing to bring up. I'm glad you did that, because keep shooting, you just kind of can get distracted with the business side and trying to keep that running. And if you keep the personal projects up, then you get a little bit more of your original passion and inspiration backing that. So it's 100% you and creativity, rather than just trying to complete a wedding or whatever the situation might be. So those are really helpful. And then what's the best way we can get in touch with you?
Social media. I get a lot of my portraiture clients through Facebook. Holt Media Productions. That's HOLT Media Productions on Instagram and Facebook. I'm not a real big Twitter person. I need to link up the profiles and stuff to where I can do like cross posts and stuff. But Facebook and Instagram are probably definitely where it's at, or my website, holtmediaproductions.com. And the reason I named my company that instead of Lee Holt Photography is I wanted room to grow. And I think it's an inspiration every day when I see my business name on an invoice or something. I'm like, all right, this has potential. This is, let's do it. Let's do it.
Keep pushing forward. And that's awesome. We'll have that again for you, Photo World, on the show notes page. Just type in Lee in the search bar on takeandtalkpics.com. His show notes will pop up. You can see everything there. Well, Lee, I cannot thank you enough for your time today and sharing such great value. Photo World thanks you, and happy shooting.
All right.
Hey, Photo World, TakeTalkBook.com. That's right, you can get a free audiobook today and a free month trial subscription for Audible.com. Just go to TakeTalkBook.com and get started today. Thank you, Photo World, for stopping by on another great episode here on TakeandTalkPics.com. Be sure to share Take and Talk Pics with your friends and photo family out there. Tweet about it with hashtag HeyPhotoWorld, and we'll follow along and see what great things you have to say. Happy shooting.